Yeah, and so these families buy the young North Koreans, often virgins, sometimes 12, 13, whatever, for like less than we would pay for a phone. The families know that given the chance, they'll probably escape. So they like can't even use the bathroom on their own. They're physical labor.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Section. It's your boy Abbas Wahab saying thank you for tuning in. As always, come see us on tour. They're going places. We're starting this week in Newfoundland. We're going to make our way to Nova Scotia. Then we're going to go to Alberta, then BC, then back to Ontario, then chill. Check out the dates at abbaswahab.com. Come out and see the people. Enough of that. Back in the studio today with me, I believe for the third time. The last time you were on, I think it was in the middle of the pandemic. I'm happy to have you. Simone Park is in the house.
Thanks, buddy. Good to see you.
How'd you like that intro? It was long-winded.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, no, it was good.
I needed to exhale.
I like how you need a drink of water immediately.
Right away. I'm like, that's a lot. So you just told me your car exploded?
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
I don't know. I think it was like, because it's a Japanese car, it was a Subaru, and I've been really ragging on them hard in my comedy, and they were just like, they just kamikazed themselves.
Like, watch, bitch,
yeah.
watch. Just you watch.
Yeah.
That's great. Japanese cars are not, I love how you said, it's a Japanese car. Like they're known, Japanese cars are known for exploding. Civics are known for just combusting.
Isn't Civic...
No, I'm saying like they're the most reliable car. They're like they're the one car that's not supposed to explode.
Right.
Right? It's like Ferraris and Teslas explode.
I don't know. It was just, yeah. So I've been taking transit, which is like I haven't taken the transit in decades.
How does it feel? It humbles you, doesn't it?
It sure does.
It's a very humbling experience.
But for the most part, I would say I don't even know Toronto anymore.
Okay. Before we continue on the fact that you just came back from Hawaii and that's where you've been for a minute, I need to know. The car exploding is not a regular. I'm still not over this. How you're so zen about the fact that this was your car.
Yeah, but I kind of gave it away before I went to Hawaii.
So it's been gone for a couple of years.
I mean, yeah, I just
Who had it?
It was like my friend's son, who's kind of like my little brother.
Yeah.
That's like the homie, it's family.
Yeah.
And, he had turned 21 or something. And like, he needs a car. He needs his freedom. Just like, whatever.
This guy was ripping the e-brake every snowfall. He was racing. He thinks it's a WRX STI. It's like a Subaru Impreza.
Just a regular Impreza.
Oh my God.
Regular ass Impreza.
See, they think it's Fast and the Furious shit, right? Some Impreza will give you, you know what I mean? They'll delude you like that. You're like, yo, this is the base of a WRX.
Imagine it was because he was street racing. No.
Cars don't just explode, Simone.
I don't know.
You drove to Montreal.
And
it was fine.
Yeah, I did my first show in Montreal ever.
That's the one with Edward?
No.
This isn't
with
the charity one.
Anto.
Gotcha.
This was just like a Chinatown, like Asian thing.
Gotcha.
And so
I
was
actually
excited.
had Anto on. This is generational trauma?
Yeah, I love Anto.
Yo, if you fucked up generationally, go check out that Anto Chan episode.
Big up to Anto.
Anto Chan.
I don't know. So I was surprised. I was like, wow, she's driving great. Things
he has a Subaru too.
Oh, I don't know.
He does, yeah.
Oh,
he pulled
great.
up in it. It's new though.
Oh, excuse you with the new one.
Yeah, his is one of those non-exploding Subarus.
Non-exploding
Yeah, it's a newer model.
Got it. So yeah, I mean, it was sad, but
in the highway in Toronto.
No, just like by the mall,
and like
at a red light.
Fire trucks came, everything.
I don't know. I think so. It's like it's burnt. Like it's a shell. Like it's pretty crazy. It's wild. But
this is how nonchalant you are. I love it.
What
That's how I know you. You were zen out there. That's Hawaii will do that to a motherfucker. You're like, it burned to a crisp.
I mean,
I put 4 years of payments in that car.
Cars burn. Cars burn from time to time.
Did you tell your cousin's son what happened or show him a picture? He's like, yeah, I should have probably said something about that. They'll do that from time to time.
No, it happened when he was driving it.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, no. I drove to Montreal and it was perfectly fine.
Gotcha.
And I was like, wow, so impressive that like this car is driving. Mwah.
The motherfucker put
She
nos
doing great.
in it. Yeah.
I don't know, but
it was the final. He told your cousin, I've got one last race, and then I'm out of the game for real.
I think it really traumatized him as well because he loved that car too.
Burning car.
Yeah.
Well, life's a bitch, and here we are.
Here we are.
So, you just briefly told me before you had to leave Hawaii.
Yeah, so I realized that I want to be there, but I can't do it on a work visa, like something temporary.
It's a hassle.
Because I can't ever really build my life when you know that, like, oh, if you lose your job, you get laid off, you have to pick up and leave.
Oh.
So that doesn't work for me.
You're preaching to the choir. I lived in the States for 3 years on a temporary TN visa.
The TN.
And it's the exact same thing. They're like, hey, you don't get income from any other source.
Yeah.
And exactly, if your supporting company is switches, it's a whole new application.
Oh, yeah,
You
I had
have
to do that.
Exit the country and re-enter as a reapplicant. It's a
Right.
fucking nightmare.
Yeah, I went through that and I had to do the change of employer thing. I think that was the last time I was in Canada because I lost my dad.
Yeah.
And then when I went back and I did the whole change of employer, and I'm just like, I can't do this anymore.
So the job was still good. You were just like, I'm out. Like, I can't.
The first job or
No, like recently when you've been here a couple months now in Toronto.
Yes.
You're saying so the job didn't like go like, oh, you're out.
Oh no,
find
I
a
actually
job.
got laid off.
Okay,
from that
that's
job.
what I
Yeah.
did too.
Yeah.
Because I bet you were feeling it and you weren't really gonna do it, but I was feeling it, but I was like, I'm not gonna. And then when they laid me off, I was like, fuck this game.
Yeah,
I'm out.
pretty much. And it's just, I don't know if you felt this way, but I feel like the employer, when they know that you want to be there, they're like dangling this little carrot in front of you. They know that they hold all the power.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. It's so exploitative.
You're like, hey, you guys didn't approve my vacation. Well, right now it's all hands on deck, Simone. You know that, and it is a team culture around here. And you know the season we're in is higher traffic than other seasons. You know what I mean? They just, and in consideration of your status in the country, you're like,
Yeah,
this
they
is some
just
slavery shit.
It is like borderline. Actually, it's gross.
I had it even worse. The company that hired me, that wrote the TN for me, was a consulting company that would rent out their employees to companies. So I got hired by this company directly. We'll call it Company X as a sales program manager, sales guy. Mm-hmm. The whole thing, the whole project, the big like money scheme that I was supposed to oversee, failed. Brought no money in, and it was costing them a lot of money. So they're like, fuck, we got to recoup the costs on this guy. And they had all these clients that they would like be like, you guys need a mechanic, because a lot of startups in San Francisco, they don't want to pay benefits for everybody. So they just give us mercenary engineers. We just need them for 6 months during this crazy crunch time. So I went in like that. So now not only will the main people wrote me a TN, but now I'm in a company Y as a consultant. So when I needed my fucking vacation approved, my company would be like, make sure the client approves it. And the client's like, oh, no. Had we known, they literally were, had we known you needed time off, we would have never signed you on for 6 months. So I couldn't get it approved by them. They would send me to China constantly, and I'd be there for 6 days just in a fucking conference room, like just being like a human puppet, like straight slavery shit.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't give all of their actual employees these tasks because they know, like, we'll burn them out. There's no longevity in an employee treated like this.
So you can't do that to Americans. Right.
Even an Indian who is like a full-time employee. Because I'm going to quit.
Right.
But when this person is on there contractually for 6 months, it's like, I'm not going to quit. Because then you lose your job with and that's what ended up happening.
Yeah, and then you had to come back to Canada.
I told them, take me off this project. And they took me out the project, and then the original Company X, they fired me in 5 days. They were just like, yeah, we have nothing to put you on, you're done.
Gross.
And then, I was actually back here for my birthday, and they did it over email. Like, because I was like, give me vacation, They're like, no. Finally, they take me off the project, and then as soon as they do, I fly home. Finally, I'm free. Let me go home. It's October. It's my birthday.
When's your birthday?
October 6th.
Mine's the 16th.
Oh shit!
What?
Plus 10.
Libra.
You know? So yeah, exactly. So we come. I come back and they fire my ass, and I'm just like, fuck America. Like I go back. I try to scramble for a job, and then I'm like, you know what? Exactly that feeling you had. I'm like, I don't need to apply for another TN and start this whole thing again. Let's just go back to Canada. This was 2017.
Wow. Crazy.
So what about you? Like, so now it's been a couple months in Toronto. What's the plan?
Oh, I'm going to Asia.
Oh, I love that you... Korea or all over? What's the...
Korea and all over. So I think, I lost my dad. That might have been the last time we did the podcast.
I don't know if it was during... No, it was before that happened. I just saw online that, super sorry and everything, but I saw online, I think it was a year ago roughly.
Yes.
And it wasn't like, yo, I know you're back for the funeral. You want to do the pod? Yeah. Yo, Simone, when you can dry those tears, come on over. We'll do an hour real quick.
Okay, so then I did the podcast when I was here. So I got stuck in Hawaii during the pandemic.
Yes,
and then I came back to get a job so I could go back. So it was in that period. I did the quarantine thing on Queen West.
Yeah, last time you were on, you were like, I was living in a shack for 2 weeks alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where you're at.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
Oh, I actually quarantined.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like I spent so much time in quarantine.
You were in like the mountains or something, right?
Probably.
Like something out of a book, the way you...
Just the middle of nowhere,
And now you're rinse and repeat in Asia? What's the plan?
I've never been so lackadaisical about this trip. So I have a trip to Korea, and I'm doing a fundraiser on November 4th. I have a day and a half to kind of get over jet lag and just do it. And then I don't have my flight booked to the next destination, but I have a few countries to go to that I've booked shows.
And you can travel by bus within...
No.
It all has to be flights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm doing Korea, which I would not want to do in November because it's cold. It's going to be kind of similar-esque to Canada. Mm-hmm. And I just don't want to do that. But I'm also hopefully going to be working with this organization. So the one that I did with Edworld, that was for this organization called Freedom Speakers International. And so their whole goal is to, when North Koreans make it out of North Korea, they help them to learn English and tell their stories. So do speeches and write books.
So, isn't that crazy?
What?
Your life in North Korea is so fucked up. If by the grace of God and humanity you can get out, we'll make sure we'll monetize it for you on the other end. We're gonna put you on speeches. We're gonna make sure that just the stories of living there. Because it's not like you're going to be you're going to go work for the IRS as an accountant. And just I was actually in North Korea for 28 years. I was in a camp, But anyways, you owe money. You know what I mean?
We didn't know there was an actual world out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're going to be telling the story, probably get involved with the same organization. So you're ready to help new batch of people coming out, right?
Well, the sad part is since COVID, people aren't really getting out anymore. So there's statistics. I think the highest amount of North Koreans that were able to escape was in 2009. That was just under 3,000 people. In 2022, it's now, mid to late October? So this whole year, I think there's 19 people that managed to get out.
Wow.
Yeah, because during COVID, everyone was kind of closing their borders, right? So you couldn't travel. I think some of these countries are just starting to open up again.
Damn.
So yeah, it's real
That's
sad.
3,000 to 20.
Mm-hmm. Well, 3,000 was the highest. That was the heyday. They've never hit that many.
What was it before COVID, 2018, 2019?
I don't have it off the bat, but maybe 1,000 to 2,000, I would guess. Again, don't quote me.
So it's locked off. Now it's the ones that make it through made it through some next shit.
I think so for 2022, as far as I know, there was 19 up until now, give or take. I think in 2021, there was maybe a couple hundred if we're lucky.
So it's just getting harder for them.
Just getting a lot harder. So
God damn.
And I think because my dad was technically born there, but it was before the war, so it was still one country. It's a gray area, but I know that he was very he always wanted to build a ramen factory just so they could eat because they don't eat.
Yeah,
they don't have
I listened to what's her name on Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
that would escape
Park.
Yes, exactly. And some people are like, "Oh, her story, is it fake? Is it true? Whatever." Listening to her, I'm like, I don't get the sense that any of this is a lie. It's not like she's an anti-China pup. I don't know, but it sounds like she's telling the experience. And it sounds like fucking hell. It's insane. It's like that's happening right now. Everyone's looking on the streets for like a dead animal carcass and stuff like that. Like starvation is standard all around.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like, it's wild that it's been, 70-something years since all of this happened? Maybe more. I don't know. Since like the 40s. And just like, well, I guess if you think of what's happening in Ukraine, and we don't really like hear too much about it. So it's just like, we know what's going on, but I think something like North Korea, it's like, it's just way over people's heads. Like, they don't really care. And truthfully, I probably wouldn't care if it wasn't so close to home.
Gotcha.
Just being honest. But since losing my dad last year, honestly, I do not know what I'm doing. I just know that I'm supposed to do this.
Gotcha.
So
intuition.
Yeah, and eventually, because did you know that Canada actually is the third country in the world since last year to open their doors to North Korean refugees?
I didn't. Who are the others?
The first is South Korea and then the United States.
God
so
damn.
Canada just was like, let's do this.
Fuck yeah. China's like, get back in there. You know what I mean?
Oh, let's not even go into China. Yeah.
Get back in. That's sick. But they're barely getting out, though. So it's like, if you get out by some fucking chance, you can come to Canada. You'll probably go to South Korea because, like, that's where you physically will get out, right? Because no one gets out by boat, do they? They would get over the DMZ or whatever, right?
No, not through the DMZ. So they have to usually, as far as I know, they would wait until winter and they would kind of like crawl across the ice and escape into northern China, a little sliver there.
Oh.
And so if they're not killed on the journey, which is like happens to a lot of people, once they make it to China, unfortunately, they will likely be sold and trafficked. Oh. And so they think somebody's paying to get them a broker to get them into China. And they think, oh my God, I made it, I'm alive, home free. And then especially if you're a female, which most people coming out of North Korea are women.
Why is that?
I'm not sure.
Huh.
I'm not sure.
Think wouldn't the journey be so treacherous that it would be
so like, treacherous because they don't even have like adequate clothing to deal with all the snow and the ice. And then there's guards that might kill them.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many things along the way that could kill them. Then they make it. And this is really sad, but the women have it the worst. So once they make it to China, the likelihood is that they will be trafficked and sold to a Chinese family that has a son. Remember the one baby rule?
Yes.
And girls were not.
Yes. So they're like,
they killed them.
80-20.
White people adopted them. So there's all these leftover men that weren't able to get married on their own.
Fucking idiot China fucked up their own shit.
Yeah, the leftover dudes, oftentimes there's maybe a mental disability or a physical deformation or something like that.
Incel factories here you're talking about.
Yeah, and so these families buy the young North Koreans, often virgins, sometimes 12, 13, whatever, for like less than we would pay for a phone. And then the families know that given the chance, they'll probably escape. So they like can't even use the bathroom on their own. They're physical labor.
Oh.
Now they're kind of like they're slaves.
Wow.
And then they have to have the children of their new husbands.
Would this happen mostly in like the farm agricultural area
Probably.
where it's like
that like northern
So she's like, if you come to the house, there's clearly like a second class person there that like barely speaks the language that can't be free. So everyone knows exactly what's happening, but they don't really like. And it's not my place to say anything.
Again,
about your
I don't
slave
know.
wife.
I don't know, but also China understands that if they send them back, they will not only be killed, but 3-generation rule.
Mm-hmm,
So their whole family is basically.
I thought the 3-generation rule applied even if you dip.
It could.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Because like I don't know how it works because there's so much death, there's so much starvation that death has to be so common that it's
so
like
common.
If someone dies, it's not like someone's like mark the number. It's like so if you escape, then you died, you escape. You know what I mean? Like who's to say who?
Yeah.
So I guess man, it's so fucked up. It really is fucked up.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's so locked off, and everyone's like they're
They're fine.
Yeah, exactly. Kim Jong Un, what a fucking joke character, or whatever the hell. He's like a caricature of a crazy president. It's like a joke. The whole thing is kind of a joke, and everyone's living in like a giant concentration camp, and it's like.
Yeah, I think there was like hope because he studied in Switzerland and kind of had a taste of the Western world, and
he had croissants. What happened? We don't understand. He had chocolate filled croissants. That's well. How do you think this? Is there hope in among the Korean community that like there's no border opening? If someone has to go in there and just kill that fucking the uns, right? Isn't that like? It's not like, all right, lay down your arms and everyone, okay, we'll educate you now and food for like it can't get fixed without a full regime takeover.
Yeah, and I think there's too many interests that maybe wouldn't want to see that happen because they're benefiting from it. So
because it's like a strategic military spot.
I don't know if it's just military. It's just people who are benefiting maybe won't want to see that happen. So. I don't know. It's just,
do you know some shit that I don't know?
Nah.
It sounded like you were pulling information for a second.
No, I just...
You're like, let's go back to the Subaru. I can't. Wink, wink. We'll talk
about
after.
Subaru.
Yeah.
No.
Jesus, she's scared.
I don't know. I just want to help the ones that get out, and I don't know. They're just like the sweetest people. And if you think about how we are like, we have such first world problems.
Oh,
right? And then there's these people who have not experienced, like, they've had nothing. And so they just, like, kind of appreciate everything. And I think if the people that do get out and we actually work with them to help them overcome the trauma that they've gone through, which I don't think we do enough with refugees that get out. We're just like, you're fine. Come to Canada. And we're like,
here's the Uber bag.
They just experienced so much trauma. I'm like, mental health. It's not a thing. You'll be fine.
Get Susan to Pilates quick. She's almost late.
And it's like, I don't know. I just feel like we're not taking mental health into consideration for people who come out of these war-torn countries. And, we can't just throw them into the real world and not think that they're going to have some serious repercussions of that trauma.
I think what they do is they try to filter them out in those, like, it's not even like they let them in and provide aid. They just go, you're not coming in. You know what I mean? So the ones that they deem worthy for this society, they're like, okay, you passed the 3 interviews and you did your English test. Okay, now go forth and be productive. You know what I mean? Maybe they hid their shit. Maybe they're just like everyone else, a little fucked up. But it's like, I think they literally just filter out the nut jobs. You know what I mean? The people that are shell-shocked, they're fucked. Unless it's like one schizophrenic member of like a family that's like everything. They're like, okay. But it's like if you have mental illness and you're alone, you're not getting in the country.
You think so? I don't actually know
mild
how
depression, anxiety, bipolar, as long as you can have that good personality in the meeting, you'll get through. But like schizophrenic without a chaperone or a caregiver, you're not getting into the country.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, I've never seen it like that. You'd have to apply for yourself and whatever the fuck. But there is so much of that. Actually, I did boot camp with a guy, a North Korean.
Like coding boot camp?
No. Like military boot camp. Like I was in the reserves when I was like 17.
Oh, here?
Naval reserves.
What?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, we try to get that money. Boot camp is $6,000. It's only 9 weeks.
You have to pay $6,000?
No, you get $6,000 for 9 weeks.
But then what?
Then you're in the military. But the plan was I'd quit. I'd do boot camp, get
ripped, get
exactly,
your $6,000.
Get ripped, literally crawl through the mud. I already had an immigrant upbringing. I was like, let's crawl through the mud, get this money. But then it's so cult-like breaking that when you finish it, you're like, family, we did it. That's how I ended up staying in for 6 years. But like,
whoops, no.
Yeah. But it was like part-time.
They got you.
Yeah, it was like part-time, while I was in university. But in my boot camp, there was a guy named Lee who I forget what his first name is because there you just go by last names. And this guy was so hardened. Him and his mom escaped North Korea like a long time ago. Like at that time, this was 2009, and they probably escaped in like
I think that was 90. The highest year.
Yeah, but his English was good. He'd been in Canada for like at least 8 years. 8 to 10 years.
I didn't know we could accept them before, like, recently.
His story was like, I forget how his story went, but it was crazy. They literally, truly had to escape. Like, it was like, I don't know if you ever seen like fucking, what's that M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village, where she like leaves the forest and it's just regular society.
Oh, wow.
Like, I feel like that's what it was like for them to get the fuck out. And then like people are on Samsungs in Korea.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy.
yeah, he was so hardened. He wouldn't talk about anything over there. But man, this guy was just, he had like this, like, he was just so hardened. He had like a standard level of like anger and just like, he was just, man, I just remember being like, fuck, this guy's like old, like the strength of like life 100, 200 years ago type shit. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
I was like, oof.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the only guy I ever met that was like, I escaped from North Korea. Like,
I guess
me and
they
my
can't
mom.
really talk about
Yeah.
it that much because then you're putting if there's family still there, they might get.
Oh, he's like, oh, I remember he told me, he's like, I assume my father's dead. He has no idea because him and his mom left. So it's like, he assumes that he got killed.
Probably.
Yeah.
the
It's
likelihood.
super fucked up. And,
This is going to be a super enjoyable podcast.
yo,
by the way.
I mean, hey, it is what it is, bro. North Korea, that's the name. This is what we're doing, what we can for North Korea, guys. We're giving them the laughs. What's better? A bunch of celebrities getting together and singing a song for North Korea? Remember that we all forgot the ones above us in the north. You know what I mean? Justin Bieber, North Koreans, we're forgetting them tonight. You know what I mean?
Oh my
Like,
God. That would
talking
probably
about
do
it.
a lot.
Talking about it. Yeah, exactly. But did you hear the North Korean thing on Spotify? It's sick, dude.
What do you mean?
No,
Oh,
people talking. That Jack Harlow verse was crazy. North Koreans running, flipping. But, I mean, this is
Oh
how
my
people
God.
bring awareness or whatever the fuck. But it really is crazy because it's like, as soon as you talk about it, it's like, wow, it's fucked. But it has a thing of falling right to the bottom of, you know what I mean?
yeah. I think it's just been so long. Like, how do you compare something that started in the last year and there's bombs going off right now versus something that has been going on for longer than you've been alive? Right? It just kind of falls.
It feels too big,
It's just in the background.
too old.
I think that's how some South Koreans view it too, because it's no longer like, oh my God, my brother is there, my uncle is there. It's like those ones have probably all died off a little bit.
Gotcha.
And so, unfortunately, usually the third generation starts to care. So we might have to wait one generation. And then there's this girl who's going to be like, hey,
You're leading
don't
the
speak
pack.
Korean at all. But
Wu-Tang shirt.
actually, the last Wu-Tang shirt I did get in Seoul. So,
Oh, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
But you're just like, who would have thought I'd get this here, though?
yeah.
You're like, Wu-Tang shirt from Seoul. That's a story by itself, you know? They're
Yeah.
like, you're like, where the fucking North? I'm helping them. Like, ma'am, please, you're yelling.
Yeah.
Where are they? Show me where they are.
Oh.
Have you ever spoken to a North Korean?
Yeah.
Did they tell you stories of shit over there, or do they just not talk about it?
Well, I've like shared, I got the permission of a North Korean to like retell her story.
Yeah.
Because my friend and we were in New York and we did this like fundraiser. Always doing fundraisers.
Yeah, I was going to say,
just
Anto's
fundraisers.
facilitated all these. The boys connected, man.
Anto didn't facilitate this.
Sure.
This is my
Okay,
buddy
so
Brian. And
This is New York Anto.
yeah, so I like saw there was two refugees who were sharing their stories, but it was in Korean, and then they had like a screen behind them that was kind of doing the English translation.
Yeah.
Boy, I was bawling. Just crying my eyes out. Like ugly cry too.
Yeah.
It was just, oh my God. So I talked to them afterwards, or her translator or something, and I was like, well, I have this talk coming up at the Japanese like museum in LA in Little Tokyo or something. And I said, what if I tell part of her story but in English? Because I think there's a difference between a Korean and subtitle. Like some people just like can't read fast enough and
it's
they
not
just
gonna
don't
hit
want
'em.
to.
Yeah.
So I was like, what if I do that? So I got the permission to share her story. And then I became a speaker coach, like an English speaker coach with that organization. And the one who chose me to be her coach, she didn't want to change her speech, but I was just going to help her with her presentation.
You're like, we're going to tighten this up here. Yeah. There's a lot of fat on this. You're like, the brothers were hit and killed. It's like, let's lose hit, okay? Let's go straight to the kill.
No, so I wasn't going to, she didn't want to change it, but I actually managed to use like hula chanting techniques and things that I learned when I was in Hawaii and just changed it to the English alphabet.
What the hell is hula chanting? Like
So
a
when they
hula
do
hoop?
the hula dance, which is like an
Oh.
old sacred dance, but they also like chant in the Hawaiian language. And so I had an amazing kumur teacher. I did this workshop and she was just amazing. So I don't know. I didn't know what else to do. If I'm not going to be actually changing the speech itself, then what can I work with? Okay, being able to like use your breath, being able to use dramatic pauses. And
I wanted to ruin it. I was like,
yeah, I know. Don't ruin it.
Yeah. I was like,
so-
la, 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 la.
So I did that, and she won grand prize in this thing.
Yeah?
So now,
You got 20%. You're like, it was all because of the pause. You would have never gotten there without the
yeah,
pause.
look at the judges. Look at them in the eye.
You're in the back. You're just like, don't forget where you came from. You're so mad. Security's taking you out. I fucking made her. I fucking made her.
No. So now, hopefully, when
So
I
s-
get to Korea, I'm gonna do the audiobook of the
Oh.
book that they published.
Can you tell some of the story? You can say her
what
name.
What if I like send you the link to the book,
Yo.
and then y'all can hear this sweet, sweet voice?
I love it.
Just
This is
saying a very
trying to get them
traumatic
sales
story.
right there. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that it.
Was it like the Yumni Park or whatever? Did you ever listen to that Rogan episode? And like her whole
No,
story?
But I actually, how I got involved with this organization, I read the book.
Yeah. Wait, she has a book?
She has a book.
Oh, what's it called?
That's a good question. It's blue.
Click the link. It'll
It's
be
blue.
referenced in the link. Yeah.
It's a beautiful blue color.
If you're in the
I've read
library,
it.
look for blue, all right? That's the
I mean,
hint.
just look it up, guys. We got Google.
People are on Google.
And so I read that book, and at the end, she thanks a bunch of people.
Yeah.
I knew 3 people who she had thanked on that list. So I reached out to all of them. Oh my God, I just read Yummy Park's book, and I see that you guys were, like 2 of them were from Hawaii.
Yeah.
And then this other one was a guy that I met when I went to Korea right after I started comedy in 2017.
Yeah.
Because I did 3 shows in Toronto. I was like, Korea is ready. Asia is ready for my jokes. And now 5 years later, I'm basically doing the same trip, but adding a bunch of Southeast Asia. Because in my mind,
It's warmer there.
it's warmer there, but also, getting people to somehow be receptive to opening their borders. I don't know if that's going to be what I'm able to do, but just making jokes about North Koreans and stuff like that and kind of dissolving the scariness around them. Hopefully, I've got a big plan and I have no idea how I'm going to execute on it, but this is kind of fact-finding mission to like figure out what makes each country tick so that I can create some jokes and a narrative that will allow them to not vilify North Koreans anymore and hopefully eventually be open to helping them get out.
Well, I think it's more effective than you may think. You shouldn't underestimate it because who knows how the domino effect of the life works, you know? How they say you go back, you step on a fly, you fucking ended everything, like, a million years later, whatever. Like, before I listened to that Yumni Park episode, I never thought about North Korea.
Yeah.
And now I really, it's been a conversation I've had on the podcast probably 2 or 3 times. This has been more in depth than those other ones.
Mm-hmm.
When I had Edward Kim on, I was talking to him about North Korea because when he lived in China, there was a couple North Korea would send a group of the foreign exchange students. They had to specifically go to China. They had to go to they had to stay in a group and they have to go to the conditioning. They have to go to their embassy once a week for conditioning, like Clockwork Orange, eyes open, leader. You know what I mean? And like Edward tried to fuck around and that guy made a very clear boundary, don't ever talk in a way that Edward thought he was gonna get killed. So I was like, wow, that's insane. But we don't know how these things will affect. We don't know the future. But my other question is, why are all these countries? Why is their border closed to North Koreans? What is? I don't understand that at all. It's like our borders are open to Palestinians. You know what I mean? Who show refugee status, which should be pretty fucking easy for a Palestinian. Sudanese, Somalis, any of these people that are running from, famine or whatever the hell, fucked up government. we let them. I'm here as a result of that. You know, actually, we entered on professional status, which my dad told me every day I was alive. So he reminded me. We didn't come in. I have a whole bit on it, but like, why are the doors closed for North Koreans? I don't get it. Is this some like political thing? Well, China will be mad at the country if they open their doors to North Koreans.
I have no
Like
idea.
you have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
That does it. Only 3 countries allow North Koreans.
As far as I know, yeah.
Germany, if you escape as a North Korean, Germany will not allow you to in. They'll let in 1 million Syrians, fucking 100,000, God knows how many Ukrainians, but they won't let in a North Korean enter?
I don't think so.
That's
I don't
pretty,
know. I
what
don't
the
know.
fuck? That's so weird.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is weird.
Okay.
How is it not? I don't get it. Like, I didn't know there was a
He's
list.
gonna have to look this up.
Yeah. And I have to. Why are North Korean refugees not allowed to enter? Blah blah. Enter UK was the one. Legal grounds for protection of North Korean refugees. Several years ago, a senior Chinese diplomat told me that his government does not consider North Koreans who cross into China to be refugees. They are like Mexicans, he said, who will legally enter the United States, economic migrants seeking to better their lives. So that's in the case of China, which I would totally understand them being like, no, you know? But I don't understand what's third by far the most pertinent compelling reason. Many of the North Koreans outside their country fit the category of refugees surplaced, as defined by UNHCR. Refugees surplaced are not persons who are refugees when they leave their country. They become refugees at a later date because of a valid fear of persecution upon return. Thus, the North Koreans who leave their country for economic reasons can become refugees if they have valid fears of persecution, harsh punishment upon return, which should be standard for a fucking North Korean.
Yeah. They'd be like, your fears are not valid.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to kill me. Well,
yeah.
how do we know they are? Are you sure you're not going to just pick up your job and keep doing what? I didn't have a job.
I was a slave.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to do that anymore.
Well, that's fucking... Well, I mean, at least you're doing something to actually make a difference and you're not just talking.
Yeah, and it's like, usually I'm much more prepared if I have like a trip where I'm going solo to countries that I've never been before. I've never been so just like...
Loosey-goosey?
Yeah, just go with the flow and like, I don't know exactly how much time. I have a few things booked, so I know I need to get to a certain country, but I also... Some of these countries I've never even been to, let alone done comedy there.
You're going to Vietnam?
Not yet. I mean, I haven't booked anything there.
I think I want to go to Vietnam in January. I want to go to
Ooh.
Vietnam for years.
Dude, let's meet.
Yo, if you're there January, 100%.
I mean, there's a small chance I'd come back to Toronto for December, but why? You know, like...
Yeah. I'm touring in November, and then my girl's going to Serbia in December for a couple weeks.
Nice.
So just to see her grandparents were like ill
She's
and whatnot.
Serbian?
She's Serbian. Born in Serbia, yeah. Off-white, as I like to say.
You should, next time you want to have sexy time, you should be like, vreme je, which means the time is now.
How do you know this shit? How many Serbians have you dated?
None.
Do they whisper this shit in your ear? No. In Korean? How do you say... Actually, you don't know Korean, right?
No. Thank you for
Remind-
diminishing
But
my...
it's a sick shirt, though.
You're silly. I had a dream.
Vreme je.
Yeah.
Vreme je.
Yeah, say it like that. And then
Yeah,
just like whip your
vreme.
dick out, you know?
And spin it. Vreme helicopter. How do you say
And just
helicopter?
look, I have no idea. Dude.
Vreme.
I can say that and then sing a song in Croatian.
Care to say how you learn these random...
When I studied in Germany, my roommate was Croatian. So
okay, like this is how you sing this song. You're like, stop talking.
I like learning little songs.
Vreme. Yeah, you are a language person.
Yeah,
you know?
I've been learning a lot of Urdu and Hindi because I've been taking a lot of, like, I don't have a car, so I've been taking a lot of Ubers.
Oh, so when you're in an Uber, you just start learning words? You ask people to
That's
teach you
how I
words?
learned the words, yeah.
God damn.
Yeah.
That's why it's the time is now. Was this a Serbian
That's
Uber?
actually from my friend who's half Serbian.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and she had a little postcard
Yeah.
that said that. And I was like,
Vreme.
what is that?
She said the time is now.
I think so, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, anyway, she's going there, so I gotta chill here, watch the dog, and just kind of like chill here, do shows, whatever, and then probably go to. I'm from like my parents are in London and shit. Go hang out at home a little bit, and then avoid
Ontario.
London, Ontario.
Okay.
But I just don't want to travel like during that time because I'm gonna get destroyed in like all airline prices and stuff. But right when everyone's back,
From
that like
Christmas and
between
New Year's.
week 1 of January to week 3, I'm like,
Okay.
we escaped the cold. Vietnam.
Okay.
Vietnam is one of those places that in my travels, I haven't traveled really that much in the last couple of years. Like here and there, I went to Paris here, blah, blah, blah. But back in the day when I was doing corporate, I would travel like crazy because I hated, when you hate your job, you travel hard.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Anybody who's traveling aggressively hates what they do, or unless their whole thing is travel, which
Right.
good for you. That's the sickest life. But out of all the places I'd go, I'd always run across people in, what's it called? Hostels and shit. And they would always be like, you have to go here, you have to go here. And everywhere I go, people would be like, you got to go to Vietnam.
Really?
Got to go to Vietnam. Got to go Vietnam. You know, like that Istanbul, people like always like, yo, you got to hit up Turkey, Istanbul, bro. Hit that shit up. You went and you...
I lived in Istanbul. I liked it.
I'm
to
getting
visit.
lost with just... You're just like, when I studied in Germany, when I lived in it, it's like... nothing surprises me. When did you live in Istanbul? What the hell?
2009.
Are you a spy, by the way?
No.
You could be a fucking spy. I could see it 100%.
I feel like governments be sleeping on me, you know?
They all those movies where it's like she's in a pantsuit, but then she goes undercover and has got a dress and there's like a gun right on the thigh.
I was almost
could see
arrested
it.
once in Morocco in a pantsuit because they thought we were...
They thought you were a professional?
Yeah. No, actually. It was like me and my boss, and we didn't have male counterparts with us. And they were so angry.
And she was a woman as well?
She was a woman as well. And we lived down the street, so we're just walking home
Yeah.
in pantsuits.
Yes.
They thought we were soliciting.
They thought you were like prostitutes.
Like Hillary Clinton, pantsuit.
Like
Yeah.
job interview
Yeah.
pantsuit.
Yeah.
What'd they say?
I don't know. It was all in like bear, and we were just pissed. We were so pissed. And luckily our male friends came and like...
They're like, no, they're accounted for. They are to be married next week. Yeah, no, don't touch them. They're like,
Pretty
all right,
much.
as long as they are accounted for.
Pretty much. We were so pissed.
I thought this is in Casablanca.
Yes, that's where we
I
lived.
thought it was super. That's like I thought that was like crazy liberal North Africa. Like, what?
I mean, not really. I remember, so I was probably 25. I
Yeah.
just ooded myself. But I remember the women at 25, my age, were all still virgins. Okay, you're not surprised at all.
I was just about to say dramatic pause.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
I was
yeah.
hitting that.
And just
of course,
like-
25. Yeah, it's
of
Africa.
course.
Sudan, they would be.
Yeah.
Either that or married with 2 kids. It's one of those two,
Yeah.
right?
There's no in between.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
not like they're dating and they're just
No.
keeping their options open. No, none of
No,
that.
no.
Did you enjoy it though? Besides the being in the past, as far as like women's movement and all that stuff.
There were some nice parts of Casablanca for sure. But I would say for all the places that I got to live, usually the more limited ones, because I'm a female
Yeah,
in terms of rights and freedoms.
they're not gonna make it to the top of the list.
I mean, you know.
I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I think I connect the dots. You know the ones, all the places where you're a second class citizen, you're not a
Yeah.
big fan of.
Yeah.
Surprise,
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah. It was like, yeah.
It's like a black
let's
guy.
just say that.
It's like a fucking vacation where you can go to the past or the future. It's like, did you like 1960 more or 2040? It's like, what do you think? What do you fucking think?
Yeah. So
So what happened in Istanbul? Why'd you make that face?
it was so many different things. Like it wasn't just the place, because I actually quite enjoyed Istanbul when I visited it
Yeah,
as a tourist.
it's like San Francisco.
Yeah, and then living and working there was just like, ugh.
Tell me the difference.
Well, I think it was many influences. It was winter, so the weather was terrible. We picked the wrong place to live, and traffic is horrible
So you're just in like gridlock all the time?
all the time.
Okay.
And also my relationship was failing at that point. So
You were there in like living with like the partner at the time.
yeah, so we were doing those projects together after Lebanon.
Yes.
And it was just everything. They switched the media that we were working with, and I was super comfortable and familiar with the last one. I knew how to sell it. I knew how to do that job. And so now we're like going to Turkey At first, and also it was like I was supposed to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Then Greece's economy folded, and so they were like, "We're going to send you to Greece." So I'm like brushing up on my Greek.
It's so funny to me. You're like, I don't like it in Morocco. Fuck this. I'm going to Saudi Arabia.
They pick. The company would pick for you, so it's not like I'm hand selecting these countries. Wherever they.
You need to have a conversation with whoever's doing the fucking picking.
Yeah, they definitely. I think it was just like a last ditch thing. Clearly, if they're changing it 3 times in a row before. And I also think back then I was very...
Just to refresh me on this, this is like, was it aid work or what was it exactly?
No, it was like kind of global advertising, sales, branding.
And why would they have to send you to the country?
Because we want OTS. We want a signature on a contract on the spot.
Gotcha. OTS on the spot.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you go for like a week or 2?
Oh, 3 to 7 months.
Just to get one signature?
No, you're hoping to get many, many signed contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, you are a spy. By the way, you're not helping that whole thing of not being a spy. Many signed contracts.
But I just feel like I would... Like, let's say that I was. I'm not. No, I'm not.
This is like the OJ book. If I did it, this is how. You did it.
The gloves don't fit.
Yeah, you did it.
Don't you think that being a comedian would just be the perfect cover?
100%.
100%.
Dramatic pause. That's the third one.
I tried to wink.
Do anymore. Yeah. I'm going to show my camera while you're winking just to ruin it.
Because my mouth open.
Yeah.
So awkward.
So you were a spy for sure.
Nah. I totally could have been, though. Huh?
I didn't say anything.
I didn't say anything. I just think governments be sleeping.
Yeah. They're like, an Asian woman can't do it. She'll go and just work at a massage parlor. Come on. Yeah, exactly. They know happy endings, not long-term investments and whatever the fuck. Collapsing governments. But Istanbul just like was the worst to live in. I don't know why. Everyone, again, it's a tourist versus living thing.
But as a man, would you have a great time? Absolutely. So you're going to have a totally different experience from me as an Asian woman there. Also, in most parts of kind of the Middle East, North Africa, or, Asian women are typically housekeepers.
Gotcha. Maids,
child's, the nannies.
The help, yeah.
So
people say, that's like people assume that even when you're walking on the street, kind of like in the back of their head.
Yeah.
Like,
so when I'm like rolling into these meetings, and of course I'm wearing like 6-inch, underneath my pantsuit, so you can't actually tell how tall I am. So I'm like standing 5'11".
Yeah.
And they're just like, "What is this thing?"
She's here for OTS.
That's I'm there for OTS. Hell yeah. Well, because also we were 100% commission based. So if you ain't signing, you ain't making nothing.
Was it good money?
I mean, wasn't
And
shabby.
you lift up, you have like Jordan 1's Off-White or some crazy shoe. You just lift it into the camera. Does that answer that? Just barefoot. Does that answer your question?
I mean, it was a good experience for sure.
What was your favorite country to dip into to do these things?
I would say I loved Lebanon, but I don't think I could live there. I would always go back to visit in a heartbeat because Lebanese people, they know how to live. They know how to live. They literally live like tomorrow could be their last day because in their minds it could. And there's something very...
I have so many Lebanese friends watching and listening right now. Bro, I told you, man. Lebanon, man. Come to Beirut, man.
Yeah, Beirut.
They're going to get a big...
Yeah? I love everything about Beirut and Lebanon. I've gone snowboarding there. Yeah,
They say you can snowboard right to the beach.
Right to the beach.
Right to the beach.
Done it. It's amazing. Azim. Mumayez. Anyways, I'll stop.
So you know like 8 words in any country language that comes up?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, Lebanon. I really rocked this one taxi driver's life because you couldn't see. Like I was in the back. I was with a bunch of people. And I think I had just been speaking Greek with this one guy. And he's like, you speak every language. And I'm like, let's try it. Sir, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Pakistan. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you speak Urdu. And then I was just like going in. But he hadn't seen me.
Yeah.
Right? So when we finished, and he was just like, I got to see what you look like. And he turns on the lights. And there I am sitting there. And he's like,
Boy, his eyes went doing, doing, like a cartoon.
Boggle.
But how?
Crazy.
It was you.
I love doing that. Oh, it's my favorite.
Just fucking with people like that. This is, by the way, this is the exact party trick of an ex-spy. Do you understand that? Do you understand if you were at a party let's say like it's a 56-year-old person at a party years later and this very multicultural party.
Who the fuck is 56, motherfucker?
Someone with a life. I'm not talking about you. I'm saying this hypothetically. Relax. What the fuck? You think I'm calling you 56? I'm looking at you right now. I look way older than you. Do you understand? People are watching this shit. You look very young and I look kind of old. So what the fuck am I going to say? You know? But like if you went around and just speaking in everyone's language to them, that is like, and like entertaining and being funny, you're like, that's a fucking spy. That's someone who's a spy. Like to just get into a room, fit in, not be uncomfortable, have like the sense of like confidence because you did every country, you did every culture. You've been in so many cultures that you are second class and you navigated it. That's not a lot of people have done that shit, you know?
And I really hope that I can do it again, like soon. Like I leave in a week and I don't know why I'm so like chill. It's like the same thing. Car blows up. Whatever, I'll figure it out. Like I'm going to, not just going, but like doing shows in countries that I've never experienced. I've never traveled to them in my life.
But you don't have a worry of that because you've been to 50 countries. You know, you've been to many countries you've never been to before. And you know what that's like. Like, okay, get the language app or whatever. No, hit this.
But what if these jokes are just so inappropriate? Because I'm not exactly the cleanest
because
comic.
But you're not an idiot either. So you're going to read the room. You're going to have your eyes open between the airport to the hotel and everything in between. Your eyes are going to be taking in everything.
True.
And when you get on stage, you're not going to put yourself in an unsafe position. I have a feeling that's how it's going to go down. You know? You're going to be like, okay, do not bring up the leader. I have been in 7 conversations about don't talk shit about the leader.
Yeah, got
okay.
it. Noted.
Yeah. And he's like, when I was in China doing some open mics in Shanghai, there was some topics no one had to tell me. I could tell all the comics no one was talking about like Chinese government.
Yeah, oh, hell no.
And I'm like,
That's
I'm
just
not
stupid.
going to be the guy here on a visa.
I think in Shanghai, clubs have been shut down. Like people, I think it's Shanghai, don't quote me, but when I was getting all the like leads from other comedians who have done Asia, and they were like, there used to be this thing, and then something went wrong. I don't know if it was Shanghai, but it was somewhere, and shut down, like closed. Maybe the guy even was put in jail for a bit, but like that's crazy to put.
China doesn't fuck around with jail.
Yeah, they really don't.
China is the way that you would think it happens. Jail should happen objectively. But it doesn't because it's like in the world, especially in North America, as we see, if you're like older and well-to-do and white, you have a way lower chance of going to prison for the same crime, whether it's tax evasion, a violent crime, anything, right? You see it hands down everywhere. But like in Asia, billionaires just get grabbed. Like in China specifically, not Asia, like in China specifically, billionaires get grabbed. And I have a close friend whose dad did a lot of business he's from Hong Kong. His dad did a lot of business in mainland. Yes, business. And let's just say he didn't pay the government their cut.
Oh.
And he's been in prison for over 10 years. Like every couple of years he gets a letter.
Damn.
Like, and he's like well-to-do. They were millionaires. They like everything, you know? And like just gone off the map. Like that doesn't happen here. You have your lawyers appealing. You have a team of 7 lawyers doing every fucking legal thing in the book to get. Like Cosby's out of prison. You know that, right? Cosby's not in prison. Cosby hasn't even been in prison for months.
Well, usually if you can afford a really good lawyer.
But that's what I'm saying. China don't play that game.
Wow.
You can't afford a good lawyer in China because the government's like, oh, whoa. Your lawyer's going to prison too. Like if you know what I mean? Like they'll bill the Alibaba guy. He disappeared. He's a billion. That's like.
They
Elon
don't even
Musk.
give you an opportunity and say you owe us X, Y, and Z. Pay it, and we won't.
I think it almost is like if we prove that you dodged us, we're taking the money out of your accounts and you're coming to prison. Like it's not even like you owe us. It's like they have a level of control that like the government here doesn't even have. Because
Yeah.
I think it's like, because here people could put money offshore and stuff, and anywhere you can. But I think in China, the government knows about everything you have in the Bahamas and the Cayman Islands and Switzerland.
And
It's like
all
they will
through
lock
TikTok.
it all.
That's how they capture all the
yeah.
information.
There's a guy
Why
in
you
Switzerland
dancing?
in a bank.
Why you dancing?
He's dancing. They're reading all the codes behind him and shit. China's next level. But when I was there doing comedy, no one told me the rules, and you can smell it in the air. No one had to tell me of one word of what like to talk or not talk about, and you could just smell it in the air.
Damn.
Yeah. But still, shit. But you see like when you're in China, you're like, but look at the fucking pros. I just watched them fix this street. 2 days I'm here. I just watched them do a project, construction here. That's a 3-month project in fucking Ontario. 3 months. Eglinton is a 10-year thing.
Yeah.
That's a 4-month project in China. So it's like, I mean, shit moves over there. They're fucking, and they're going to be the superpower in a couple of years. So brush up on that Mandarin, you know?
I'll just be the strong silent type.
The problem is you don't run into a lot of Mandarin cab drivers, right?
No.
So you're not learning a lot of Mandarin. That's the issue.
No, sir.
That's
no,
what-
sirree, Bob.
That's what the new well-to-do people, they're putting their kids in like,
Oh,
you know,
hell
it used to
yeah.
be French.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
it's Mandarin.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a smart move.
They're going to
Yeah.
be the superpower soon.
That's...
So tell me, what cities are you actually hitting? Like, country
What's the for
aside.
sure?
Yeah, like what is hit?
So
Are you calling
sure-
it a tour or what are you calling it?
I guess it's
Yeah.
like going to be Simone live in Asia.
Simone, yeah, live in Asia.
Live in Asia.
That's fucking sick.
So for sure, first one's Korea. Hopefully get the audiobook done because I would just feel really good about doing that.
Yeah.
I was going to go to Thailand. That hasn't been confirmed yet. Then Jakarta in Indonesia.
Okay.
Yeah. And then 2 shows in Singapore, which I think I need to be a little bit careful there.
So, yeah, just don't be spitting gum. I'll tell you that.
I
right
know,
now.
right?
You better
Ooh.
fucking put that hubba bubba in your
Ooh.
purse, Simone. It's like, what the fuck is this? It's Excel.
I'll just be
They're
doing
arresting
comedy
you.
with like this wad on my finger
Yeah.
just for later. And
She did 6 years for Trident, possession of Trident, spearmint. Oh, you're gonna wait for a long time, miss.
but my mouth is minty fresh. And then Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Oh, sick. Now that's supposed to be. A lot of Sudanese are there learn.
No way.
They like really allow a lot of Sudanese to come and go to university there.
Nice.
A lot of my cousins went there.
So that's taking me into December.
Okay.
And so there's a small chance that I'll come back to Canada for Christmas, but I kind of don't want to because I don't think I will have completed what I want. It's going to be the most expensive time to fly. It's going to be an
The
absolute
coldest time,
shit show.
it doesn't make any sense.
And the coldest time.
Don't come back.
Right? So I'm
Don't.
kind of like, I know people who I could do shows in Tokyo, but that's also going to be cold. So could I snowboard? Like, I'm just like trying to think like, how can I make the most out of this?
Or post up in Vietnam for like $2 a day and live amazing and get a motorcycle and just do that whole thing.
I've heard
I can't wait.
Cambodia is also sick. I've never been to the Philippines. There's just so
shit.
many. I also kind of am waiting to hear back on a show in Bali. I've always wanted to go to Bali. So there's a lot of feelers out there. I think if I actually have successful shows in parts of Southeast Asia, that will allow me to have leverage.
And the momentum.
right?
Yeah.
Because then it's like, I just did this,
Because use
this, and
social
this.
media, be like, thanks Cambodia. Another one, thanks
Yeah.
Vietnam. They're like, come to Laos. You know what I mean?
I'm
Come
just
to like
so
Indonesia.
terrible at that.
I know. But still, like when
really-
you're out there, it's like you gotta do it.
I know.
You gotta do it. And not every day, but like it's like one show in each country pretty much, isn't it?
Some I have 2 or 3.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If anything, just get pictures after the fact. Like,
Right.
it's like currency for a comedian to just be like, we were here, we did the thing, and then people go, oh shit, I want to see her thing. I don't post that much, but when I go on tour, I'm planning on recording every show, cutting one crowd clip, like the night of or the next day, being like, St. Johnny was sick. Gander, we coming for you tonight. You know what I mean? Build
Are you
the
going
hype.
to Gander?
I'm going to Gander.
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's
Have
amazing.
you ever been?
No, but that musical or the thing about the 9/11, the planes, and then the Gander folk just took them all into their homes.
9/11.
So when 9/11 happened,
Yeah.
there was planes that had to land in Gander, I'm pretty sure.
Great Gander, Newfoundland.
Yeah, of all places. And yeah, go look it up. It's
Yeah.
called like 3 words. Like now we're playing charades.
Gander,
3 words.
Newfoundland, taking
Be here now? No,
in
that's not it.
9/11 people.
It's a 3-word musical.
NL famously embraced the world on 9/11. There's an untold story about what happened here. Influx of refugees, a history of airline tragedies, and even Y2K prepared Gander for 9/11.
Look up Gander musical or Gander play.
Gander musical, Gander. Yo, this is incredible because now this is an in off
You
the
need
top.
to know that, dude, if you're doing shows
usually
there.
when I'm on tour, I Google, like
Right.
that morning when you're lingering, I Google the town. I see, oh, they have a museum. I just go look around and then write 5 minutes on the town and then do my shit. Gander musical. Come from away.
Come from away.
Come from away.
I said it was 3 words. Yeah, super sweet
Is it
story.
Canadian musical with book and music? Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was like a big deal.
Okay.
And it's just such
Sick.
a Canadian heartwarming story where all these like small town folk that have never, right? How many people are there? Tens of thousands maybe in
I
Gander?
think so, yeah.
And then this huge jumbo jet full of people that averted a like potential terrorist, right? Like
Yeah, they
nobody
can't
knew what was
land in
happening.
LaGuardia or whatever.
They can't, and there's no hotels. There's no infrastructure for all these people who are on this jumbo jet to stay. So literally the whole town had to take in random airline folk.
No way.
Yeah, it's like an incredible story. You need to make a joke about that.
The McKinnons, you come to us. It's like, we'll take in 2, but no more, bye. Like,
No,
whatever the
and it was
Newfoundland
like
accent. That's
such
actually
a
amazing. I'm
Canadian-
looking into this.
Yeah, dude. That's
awesome.
like-
Thank you for telling me.
that's
What
the
about
great thing
Corner
about-
Brook, Newfoundland? Did
Oh,
some shit
I
like
do,
that?
dude. Too much.
Sydney, Nova
you get
Scotia?
One.
Yeah.
You get one. You
Okay.
get Gander.
Sydney, Nova Scotia. That's funny. I flew there before, too, and did a thing. But, yo, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I think I might actually be in Vietnam in January.
Let's
if
go.
I can book it, it's on the top of my list, and I can't wait to hit it up.
There is a club. So I did a show with a woman in Maui.
Yeah.
And she had spent a lot of time in Vietnam.
Yeah.
And so there's one thing out there at least.
Yeah.
So
And it's one of those things where if I can't even get up in the 10 days or 2 weeks that I'm there, I don't even care. It's like
Yeah.
I'm there to motorcycle, do the whole thing, be on like that long, thin boat there with the little mountains that stick out of the water. I want to do the thing, you know? The pandemic taught me like I don't have to get up every night.
right.
I can
I
live,
just
you
want to
know.
get massaged all day long.
Yeah, I
Just-
love that you're like this.
No, I mean, women never get offered
Yeah.
happy endings. I think that is the worst.
Imagine. Because it wouldn't
lack of equality.
How do you price it? Because it's like it could be a 5-minute thing or an hour thing.
It doesn't matter.
The guy's happy ending. We're like, we know this is a 3 to 6 minute task we're doing.
As
Women,
dudes are
it's
always
like-
trying to hold out. I don't know, man. I just remember like being in Thailand. So like the last trip 5 years ago when I just started comedy, I went to Korea and then Korea was getting cold.
Yeah.
And it was November. It's like I'm like replaying this whole thing 5 years later. Then I went to Thailand to do the Bangkok Comedy Fringe Festival. But then I somehow talked my way into becoming this ambassador for this like nonprofit organization that was helping blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then so a bunch of us went to get massages and there was one dude with us and they were kind of like only offering him. And I was like
Like a second citizen
I
again.
know, like-
I thought I wasn't. I didn't realize I was in Morocco. What the fuck is happening?
I'm sure she's got strong hands. I'll take a little rigor
Powerful.
mortis, you know?
You're like,
Just
okay,
go.
all right, yeah, I'll still pay it. Just stop.
Yeah.
Please.
Come on.
You should do a bit on that. The massage inequality. I'm not saying do it there, but don't do it in China, you know?
I mean, I always do the things where, because in Thailand, they're like, do not joke about the ladyboys.
Yeah.
They will come throw rock. Like,
What if it's like endearing jokes?
that's what I tried to do.
Did they throw?
No.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, I got.
Yeah. So I don't know. I tend to always do a lot of things that maybe people don't like, but I really want to make it funny.
Hey, you got to take risks, you know? Otherwise, you're never going to get there. You
Yeah.
can't just do the thing. You're like, these will all work. Like, I'm not saying I'm in China being like, the leader ain't shit. The government ain't shit. Democracy. And they're just coming. Democracy. I don't even have bits. I just yell, democracy. Democracy. I'll say this, and we could wrap up. When I was in China, the client, I got a massage across the hotel. The client paid for it.
The massage.
The massage. I actually thought it was a massage. You know what I mean? But there was an old
pepper
Chinese
grinder? No,
oh
sorry.
yeah. Well, she's an old Chinese small lady, small hands, so she could pepper grind anybody, you know? And that's what she started doing. She finishes the massage and she starts fondling me.
What?
Okay? And I'm like, oh fuck, happy ending. I've never had a happy ending before, right?
And
She's going, I got hard. I'm like, yeah, we're doing it. I even smacked her in the ass too, which is hilarious.
I don't think you're supposed to touch them.
Yeah, I thought it was my ego was like, yo, she loves you. You know what I mean? I thought it was, but then this is how I knew it was like not that, because she's using just her hand. It's dry. And she's got her little basket with the lotions and stuff because she finished the massage. And she only speaks Mandarin. So I start pointing at the basket. I'm like, fuck, it's so dry, the basket.
A little Vaseline.
And then she goes like this to me. She starts you off, gets you hard, but you gotta pay for the lotion. And I was like, oh my God, that's China versus America right there. That's why the Chinese are gonna win. They start and then they'll pick up after.
Just the dry tip is free.
Oh my God, that was some heroin dealer shit. But the client was paying for it. I didn't know how much it was, so I was like, no. And she took the lotion and left. So
Damn, you can't even finish yourself, bitch.
I was putting on my pants with the button. Like, I'm going back to the hotel quick.
You weren't just crying, just like.
I don't know how much it would cost.
Gross.
But yo, Sybil, thank you for coming. As always, please look into the camera and let the people know where to find you. I have people listening from like fucking all over the world, so who knows? Maybe they might see you
people in Asia.
out.
I mean, I'm
there's a lot
be
of countries
in a
out
bunch
there.
of places. I mean, probably mostly on IG. You can just find me at Spark the Power, all one word.
And you're gonna have all your dates posted on there?
Sure. Yeah. Dude, I'm terrible at this, but yeah.
But yo, she's coming out there. If you are living in the places that she listed, follow her, keep an eye on her story, and yo, that'd be so sick to just hear someone on a podcast and then come see them out live halfway across the world. How sick would that be?
But I wouldn't put it past you. Right?
Yeah, from my end, come out to the tour. They're going places. We're hitting all these cities. Even Gander, which I'm gonna fucking look into this. Come from away, whatever thing. Come from away, he was. We let him in our home, and I didn't. Nobody I can.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Sorry.
You just offended a whole people. Gander. Your teeth fell out as you were saying gander. Like Canada's.
All right,
hillbilly.
take that part out.
Yeah, that's getting edited. But yo, thank you for tuning in. As always, if you liked it, click plus, follow, all that stuff. Simone, I wish you the best on this trip.
Thanks.
Stay safe. Don't say anything crazy. Don't get killed. Don't spit gum in Singapore.
Maybe we can do a follow-up episode in Vietnam.
I'd be actually down. I'm gonna bring like a mic and shit. We'll see.
Hell yeah.
But until next time, thanks for tuning in. Peace.